Hey there, welcome back to our Harkla YouTube channel. We are so happy to have you here again today. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Jessica. We are the Certified Occupational Therapy Assistants with Harkla. And today we're answering a question that we received from a new COTA who is just starting in pediatrics.
So I don't know about you, but I remember when I first started out in pediatrics over 10 years ago.
Wow.
As a fresh new COTA or Certified Occupational Therapy Assistant, I knew nothing. I really knew nothing, and I have no problem admitting that because I feel like the more open and honest we can be about how little we know as new grads, I feel like it just normalizes the whole process, because especially if you come into a setting and you're like, oh, I know everything, like that doesn't really give you an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
So this is the question that we got. It's a great one. I'm a new COTA and starting a new job in a week working with kids. I'm worried about being able to build treatment plans for my kids. You spoke of building rapport, and I'm guessing that's the first few sessions they'll be getting to know each other and learning the goals. Do you have any suggestions on how you can create therapeutic treatment plans and our goals, the focus of the first few sessions with the kids? Thank you.
We actually put together 5 tips from this question for anyone who is starting in pediatrics. And I think these tips could be used for occupational therapy practitioners, speech therapists, physical therapists, any therapist, professional in general who is working with children. I think these tips that we're gonna give to you today could be applied to all of you.
So.
Yeah.
Yep. So yes, absolutely the first step, our first recommendation is to always build rapport with your clients. Figure out what they're into, figure out what they love, what they don't love. Just focus on building that connection. Just be their friend, be there for them. Open the conversation, let them know that you are on their team, you are there to support them, whether you are using verbal communication, whether you're using an AAC device, whether you are working with a GLP kiddo, however the child communicates, get on their level, get on the floor, put your notes away, put your computer away, put your phone away, because we know that that won't be an issue. Put it all away and just focus on connection.
Yes, this is one of the things that I do at the beginning of treatment with a new client. Is if it's an older child and they have verbal communication, I just ask them questions like, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite animal? What's your favorite sport? And I just ask them questions and encourage them to ask me questions so they can also get to know me as well. For any of my clients who are younger, like toddler age, or they don't have verbal communication, I'll just keep it more simple and I'll follow their lead. Like, what do they gravitate towards? If I introduce a new toy or a new piece of equipment, do they like it or do they hate it? And I just really follow their lead to see what they like, and I engage with them. I laugh, I smile, sing songs, whatever it takes to get them to like kind of look at me and smile or engage with me in some way.
And want to come back next week.
And want to come back. That's very important. Yes.
All right, our second tip is to review their goals, review their occupational profile, and start to create a template based on their goals. And we have made this process easy for you because that's what we do. And we have a treatment planning template that is in one of our courses, and we will link that freebie for you so you can just download it, print it off, and fill it in for each of your clients that you're working with.
Yes, some different ideas here based on goals that your clients might have. If your client has postural control, balance, gross motor goals, then start creating obstacle courses for them to go through. This could include climbing, crawling, jumping, hopping. One of my favorite things is to have one of those like agility ladders on the floor, and you can do different hopping and crawling patterns through them. Use swings to do different swing activities. Climbing on and off the swing is actually a really great gross motor activity for many of our clients.
Yeah, and if you have a handwriting goal or a fine motor goal, then you can put some letters or some pieces in a sensory bin. You can have them grab a letter, go through the obstacle course, cross the balance beam, hop over the bar that they have to jump over, crawl under an obstacle, and then put the letter either matching on the board, or they have to write it, or they have to write a word that starts with that letter. Whatever level they're at, you can build that into the obstacle course. So you can see how we're really targeting multiple goals with one activity. Obstacle courses are some of our favorite tools in order to do so. So you can use the treatment planning template to write out your goals, write out the activities that you're going to include, have a couple of different plans because you just never know what you're going to get, and don't be afraid to completely ditch the plan as well, because if you have a client that comes in, maybe they're really dysregulated, they're really uncomfortable, you just need to step away from what your plan initially was, take them to an area where they can regulate, where it's not overstimulating, it's calm, grab some of your favorite regulation tools, a beanbag, vibration, headphones, music, whatever they can use to calm down. So that's a big one. Don't be afraid to pivot. That's a huge part of treatment planning.
And then the other thing going along with this is if you do set up an obstacle course with all of these different components, make sure that it is usable for multiple clients. If you have a caseload, a full caseload, you have multiple clients every single day, you don't have time or energy to set up new obstacle courses for every client. So make sure that whatever you do set up is you're able to modify it to fit the needs of every client that day, so that you just set up one thing for the week and you can use it all week long. It does take some practice, but you just have to do it to start
getting the feel of what you want to include.
Yes, exactly.
I will add one more to that. Let's say you have a bunch of toddlers, but then you also have some middle school kids. Make sure that you have maybe 2 options set up if there's enough room, so you can have your toddler activity set up and then you can have your older kiddo activity set up too, and you can use those throughout the week for your different level of clients.
Yes. The third tip here is to focus on connection and play. This kind of goes into tip number 1, but a little bit deeper. Once you've built the rapport, once you've started doing some activities with your clients, make sure you are being playful, because remember, a child's main occupation is play, but also make sure that you're adding in that just right challenge. We do have a podcast episode on that and how to do it, what it means. But you want to make sure that in the play that you're helping your clients do, you are also challenging them just a little bit each time.
I just feel like this one kind of goes without saying, but the reason why we bring it up and we talk about this so much is because we know that you're busy as a practitioner. You probably have back-to-back clients, and the last thing that you're thinking about is, how am I going to connect with this child? How am I going to get down on their level? And we've seen so many practitioners in our experience not doing this as we'd like to see it, and we just are tired of it. So if we can give you just like a little reminder, a friendly reminder, just to get down on their level and remember that you are there to change their life, basically. Like, that's a big role that we're putting on you, but really you have the opportunity to impact these children in so many positive ways. Don't let that opportunity slip between your fingers. Like, it's a huge role that you have. Build connection, get down and play with them, and it makes your job a lot easier too.
Yes. Tip number 4 is to set clear expectations with the families you're working with. So when you go in and you meet your client and you meet their family, make sure that you understand where they're coming from, but that they also understand where you're coming from, and that what you're doing is setting up this child for success, but also set the expectation that they are going to need to do things at home to really see lots of progress. We call these home exercise programs, so make sure that you are putting in a little bit of extra time to send home simple home exercise programs, and that the family knows that this is an expectation that you're holding them to make progress for their child.
And check in with them. If you've been treating this client for a couple of weeks and you're noticing that they're coming back and maybe they're not bringing the checkoff sheet with them, check in and say, what's going on? How can I support you? How can I modify the home exercise program in order to help you be successful? We don't ever want to shame a family for not being able to carry over these goals and these strategies and these activities, because I will say, once I became a mom myself and realized how hard it is to actually do these activities with your own kids, I have so much more empathy for the clients that we work with, because it's really challenging to carry over these things and to build them into the daily routine. So that's why we recommend having those clear expectations from the start, and also checking in with them. If it's not successful, then you need to modify your plan. You can't just be upset with them for not carrying over the activities. How can you bring it down, make it a little bit easier, more successful for them?
And it is one of the hardest parts of working in the clinic setting, I will say that.
Yes, definitely.
That actually goes into our last tip for today, which is to have empathy for your clients and for your families. They are likely struggling with things that you know nothing about, unless you also have children who are dealing with the same challenges. If you don't, like Rachel said, she had more empathy once she had children to understand the busyness and how it is working with young children at home when you were the parent. If you don't have that in your life, it's gonna be really difficult to understand where these families are coming from. So really try to have empathy when communication is lacking or when home exercise programs aren't being done, because the empathy that you can provide for these families is going to make you a better therapist.
Mic drop. That was great. Love that. So if you are a fellow new grad, or if you have been practicing for a while and you want to share some feedback or some suggestions, some additional tips that have been helpful for you, please do so in the comments of this video. We really want this to be just a safe space for new practitioners, old practitioners, whoever you are, to come and to learn and to grow together.
Yes, if you found this video helpful, if you liked it, make sure to share it with somebody else who will get benefits from it. Click the like button on this video and subscribe to the Harkla YouTube channel.
If you haven't already listened to our podcast, we highly recommend checking that out as well. We have over 300 episodes. It's All Things Sensory by Harkla, and you can find it everywhere.
Everywhere, and on video. We're also on social media. We are on Instagram at Harkla_family, as well as at All Things Sensory Podcast.
And with that, we will plan on seeing you next week for another YouTube video. Like I was just awkwardly staring while you were talking.
Probably.